What's up, guys? Welcome back. I am your host, Justin Colby, and on this channel and on this episode, we are going to be talking about how to stay motivated in business and in life. Stay tuned. What's up, guys? Welcome back to this channel. I am Justin Colby, and on this episode, I want to talk about a question I was posed by a student of mine. He actually was having some challenges in his business, kind of getting going, and he asked me, how does he stay motivated when he's not seeing the results that he really wants? And so I thought it was a great subject, and actually made me think about doing a recording for you right here on this YouTube channel. Now, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe. I talk all things business, real estate, and entrepreneurship. And by the way, if you like this idea and concept of how to stay motivated, smash that like button for me. I would greatly appreciate it. So let's talk about this. And I'm gonna have different angles and concept about how to stay motivated, especially in business, and that will transition into life. So this student really had a hard time, achieving what he wanted to achieve in the time frame he set forward. Now, he wasn't fully failing, right? But he wasn't really achieving the goals he set for himself. And so the first question I posed to him was, what were his expectations in the time frame he gave himself? And really what it came down to is he really just gave himself improper expectations in the time frame. Tony Robbins actually has a great quote talking about how people overestimate what they can achieve in a year, and then they underestimate what they can achieve in 10 years. I've quoted this numerous times on my videos and on my trainings and speaking from stage, and the reason being is I firmly agree with it. More often than not, we say, okay, I'm gonna get this business started, or I'm gonna start this new strategy in my business, and in the first year we're gonna hit these goals and it's gonna be amazing, and whatever the case may be. But the expectations are so short, right? This is the long game. If you're building a business, or if you're getting into business, this isn't just a get rich quick and leave business. I mean, essentially, at least the people I talk to, isn't like a get rich quick scheme, right? They either want to be real estate investors or whatever the business wants to be. So you have to give yourself proper expectations based around the time and commitment you can give to your business. One of the things as I dove in is his time commitment to achieve the result. He didn't realize that he actually wasn't putting forth enough time even to achieve the result, right? And so again, society right now is this microwave society. Everyone wants stuff now, and that's just not the case. Now, there are ways to have fast results, but hitting big goals typically doesn't happen in a time frame that is short, let's just say. So the first thing that all entrepreneurs, all business owners really need to look at is, are you giving yourself improper expectations? Do you want that microwave society feeling of quick results right now and hit your goal? Then I would tell you, have smaller goals that you can simply achieve, gain that confidence, gain that success, and build on those achievements. Not enough people congratulate or celebrate the minor wins along the way. They set a goal of doing $10 million in revenue, but when they hit the $100,000 mark for the first time, they don't celebrate it because they set their goal at 10 million. Well, that's not fair either, because if you're starting a business and you just made your first $100,000, that's a lot. Now, you don't need to go throw a party, but the reality is, based around your $10 million goal, $100,000 doesn't seem like a lot, but you still need to celebrate that and have proper expectations, gain confidence on that win, and then continue to push forward towards your goal, which, by the way, depending upon your goal, right, give yourself a proper time frame to achieve that goal. I've been an entrepreneur since I graduated UCLA, and what I can tell you I've learned time and time again is, as hard as I'm a driver and I want things now, I realize it takes time, because guess what? Being an entrepreneur, being a business owner is hard. It isn't get rich quick and have all this money and fame and life right away. It's taken me 14 years as a full-time real estate investor to create the life I have today, which is amazing. And so give yourself some leeway here. So that's point number one. Give yourself proper expectations, specifically time expectations, so you don't feel like you're failing. The next thing is this short-term gratification, right? Everyone wants short-term results, and this goes back to the microwave society, but the reality, point number two here, is condition yourself for the longer term results. Condition yourself to be more patient. Condition yourself to celebrate the minor wins, be able to celebrate, gain some confidence, have some joy through the process, right? And then be able to get back to work, be able to get back to the grind. So make sure you are conditioning yourself for a longer term gratification, not just the short term. But in the short term, celebrate those wins, take some time, have, a glass of wine with your loved one, say, hey, you know what, we hit our first $100,000 or whatever the short term was, and then move on. Now here was a big point that I mentioned to my student, and I believe we all need to recognize. Being an entrepreneur and life in general is gonna constantly punch you in the face. You are always gonna have hurdles and challenges that you did not foresee coming, right? And so maybe you lost a big deal, maybe you lost a big client, maybe you thought you were gonna gain a new client or a new deal and it didn't transpire because of reasons completely outside of your control. You did everything 100% right, and all of a sudden you're sitting there like, what happened? Well, this happens to all of us. Take a step back. It's okay. This is your learning moment. This is the education moment where you can actually reflect. Why didn't I get that deal done? Why did that deal blow up? Why did that client leave me? Why didn't that client sign? Whatever the case may be, this is your time for reflection, right? This is a big, big thing that my student wasn't giving himself time for, because he wasn't achieving his goals because he had improper expectations, but then he was getting really frustrated about when the things didn't go right. So for example, he was flipping homes. He's a real estate investor, and I do a lot of coaching with real estate investors. If that interests you, by the way, just go to thescienceofflipping.com, hit apply now. I'm happy to speak with you about potentially working with you. Again, thescienceofflipping.com. Not everyone's a right fit, but hopefully you are. Just fill out the form. It's absolutely free. We can talk to you. So I was working with him, and a couple deals went south on him. And he was getting really frustrated, which kind of was the impetus for him to ask the question, how do I stay motivated, right? When you're not achieving your goals, when things are going wrong. Well, first, again, it goes back to my expectations. I'm very aware that business and life is constantly gonna punch me in the face. That's what I call it, right? Basically, things aren't always gonna go my way. So if I get that and I understand the proper expectations, then I need to have time to reflect on why those things happened. Did I put myself in a position to fail? Did I not see the around the corner far enough to see what could be around that corner, so on and so forth. So in this case, as a real estate investor, right, he thought he had a couple deals, and ultimately the seller didn't go with his offer. And so we dove into that, and not to get too granular on here, but he didn't align his values with what the sellers valued. He only went with price, and on those couple deals, it wasn't good enough. And so for him, it was a learning curve, or a lesson, I should say, to understand he needed to align his values with the seller's values, and that would have likely have gotten them the deal. Now for you, whether it's a deal, whether it's a client, whatever the case may be, there's always something to learn there. I mean, this is quite honestly why coaching and always leveling up is so important for people, is because you need to have someone who can look around that corner for you. In this case, I would have told my client this, like, hey, this is why you may not be getting deals. And so for you, you need to have proper expectations of why, or proper expectations that you will fail. Things aren't always gonna go right, but then do some self-reflecting. Look at the business. I'll give you a great example. A couple years ago, I took the owner's box of my business, meaning I was sitting in the owner's box. Like, the business was running, the employees were running, I had a partner at the time, he was running the operations, and I was living an incredible lifestyle. But we weren't surpassing goals. I've always been so used to surpassing goals. And I was a little discouraged, But I was still saying, all right, we're doing okay. Like this, I mean, we're doing good in retrospect, but we weren't surpassing our goals. Well, finally, when I jumped back into my business really heavily, I had to do some self-reflecting because I realized me pulling all the way out of the business essentially really stopped our momentum. And this was a big learning situation for me. And now, since I've learned that lesson, we are surpassing our goals constantly in our real estate business because I learned the lesson. I was able to self-reflect. So you are always going to get punched in the face in business and in life, but you need to learn from that. Those are times to take a step back, learn, and then move forward based around your learning. Again, if you don't have the expectation that you're gonna get punched in the face in business, then it can be very discouraging and you absolutely can lose motivation. Again, this, as you can see, the theme is having proper expectations. But then you need to have the fortitude and willingness to get back up, take your learning lesson, and march forward. That's a huge component as well. And the last point I brought up to him was to keep the vision ahead, right? Have something you're constantly working towards. If you are just trying to chase money, for example, if you're just trying to do one deal to have one big payday, then it's not gonna work out for you. Even if you get that deal done and have that payday, there's no motivation because there's no vision. There's nowhere else to go. The deal got done, you got paid, now what? How do I stay motivated? Well, you need to build something out to have a vision of where you want to go, whether it's a 2-year, 5-year, 10-year, 20-year vision. I've always known I wanted to create wealth through real estate, through rentals. Well, guess what? It's literally taken me 14 years to buy my first rental. Most people, if not all people, would have quit on their goal. They would have given up. But I know something that you don't know, or you're at least learning here, is it doesn't all happen overnight. Give yourself proper expectations. Life and business is gonna consistently punch you in the face, but keep your vision and maybe even grow your vision, because if you can do that, you shouldn't be losing motivation. If you're losing motivation based around your vision, make your vision bigger, make your vision wider or brighter, and ultimately, you just actually might be in the wrong business. Now, that wasn't the case for my client. He's absolutely in the right business, but for this training or this episode of my YouTube, I want you guys to also understand the vision has to be grand. It has to be big. It has to be going somewhere. And also, you have to be willing to pivot on your vision, right? It may take shape in a different way. It may be fluid, but having something out there, almost like a vision board, right? I'm a big believer in a vision board. I created a vision board before I even knew what it was. I would have the nice cars. I mean, literally I'd have posters all around my wall of like cars and cool stuff that I've wanted my whole life. And the older I've gotten, the more I've been able to obtain some of these things, right? And yes, most of them tend to be materialistic, from the watches, the cars, the place I've lived. But my point to that is the vision can be fluid, but you need to have it. You need to want something to attain, because as I told you before, business is gonna punch you in the mouth. You need to be able to get back up because you want that vision so bad. You need to believe you can get there before you see either the monetary achievements or you see the results you're looking for. Your belief in your vision needs to be bigger than any type of fear, anxiety, worry, or bigger and stronger than being punched in the face, getting knocked down. You need to get yourself back up and keep moving forward. If you create that vision that is big enough for massive achievement in your space, in your business, then that's part of it. But then you also have to be fluid, because it can absolutely change shape. And again, harping on this, but giving yourself the proper expectation. For me, it took me 14 years to start buying rentals and building wealth. It is what it is. I'm okay with that, because I didn't say I need to buy rentals within year 1 or 2 of my being a real estate investor. I said my ultimate goal is to build massive wealth through real estate, and that's now what I'm achieving. I've created massive income and cash through wholesaling and flipping, but I've never built wealth, and now that changes actually as of this very week. I'm buying my first rental, and next week I close on my second rental, and now I'm gonna go fast and far into the rental game and building wealth. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you like this and you're still on this video, smash that like button for me. I really appreciate it. make sure you have some comments or share the video, even better. Share this video as the YouTube gods love when videos go viral. Hopefully this finds you well. This is how you can stay motivated. If you have any questions or if you're interested in real estate investing, go to thescienceofflipping.com. I'll see you guys there. Peace.